2025 is almost wrapped up, guys, and we have seen some incredible free-to-play game releases throughout the year. But if you're looking for the absolute best free-to-play games to play moving forward into 2026, this video is absolutely for you. So in this video, as usual, I'm gonna go through all of these popular game genres and recommend you some of the best, top-tier, most up-to-date free-to-play games you can play right now in 2025 and also moving forward into the next year. So whether you like fast-paced shooters, action-adventure games, survival games, simulation games, even some goofy party games, there is something here for everyone. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into it. Alright, I'm starting with Battle Royale games, arguably one of the most popular game genres at the moment. So when it comes to Battle Royale games, there are three main games that are holding the market right now. These are very popular, well-established titles and having excellent concurrent play count, and these are Fortnite, PUBG and Apex Legends. You simply cannot go wrong playing any of these games, but if you're looking for more of a unique experience, you can try out games like Naraka Blade Point, excellent action-packed Battle Royale focused a lot on close-range melee combat and martial art techniques. And also we got another very popular recent entry into the market, and that is Battlefield Redsec, and this one brings that classic Battlefield style large-scale chaos, gadgets, class-based system and tons of destruction into the Battle Royale format. Extremely fun to play, especially if you got a squad of friends to play with, because right now at the moment solo play is not available. We also got games like Fallout 84, which recently got a massive first-person overhaul update, and now it's feel like a completely brand new game in my opinion. Off the Grid is another gritty cyberpunk style third-person battle royale with both PvP and PvE elements, letting you loot, fight players and also complete objective all in a one match. It's a very good looking action-packed game, but it's a bit heavy on the monetization side, and also the performance wasn't that great the last time I played it, something to keep in mind. Sonic Rumble is another fun game that very recently launched on PC. This one is pure chaotic fun party style battle royale that is more about quick rounds and laugh than sweaty competition. Pretty fun game to play right now, especially if you got some friends to play with. But if you got some sort of a low-end PC in 2025, you simply cannot play most of these games that I've already mentioned. So if that's the case, you can try out games like Bloodstrike, another very popular Call of Duty style arcade battle royale with decent graphics, fun gunplay and a 100-player battle royale mode. Alongside that, we also got games like Combat Masters, another very popular low-end PC game with fun Call of Duty-like gameplay and Warzone-like battle royale mode. The battle royale mode is lacking a lot of the features compared to Bloodstrike, but still a good option to try out if you have a low-end PC. And if you don't like either of those, you can try out games like Super Animal Royale, another very casual, cute top-down battle royale with very simple but addictive gameplay loop. Alright, action adventure games. I feel like this category is heavily depending on your personal preference, but here are my personal recommendations moving forward into 2026, starting with Where Winds Meets, one of the biggest free-to-play game to come out in 2025 and absolutely blowing up right now on Steam and across all platforms. This one delivers a beautiful open world inspired by ancient China, mixing martial art combat, deep exploration and story-driven quests that feel surprisingly immersive for a free-to-play title. We got another very popular games like Wuthering Wave. It focuses a lot more on the fast-paced combat, a dark sci-fi vibes and satisfying skill-based fight. Very popular game, no introduction needed. Sky Children of Light is a completely different experience compared to our previous two games. It's calm, emotional and focused a lot on exploration and connection. Make it perfect if you want a more relaxing adventure you can play both solo and also with other friends. Genshin Impact continues to be one of the biggest free-to-play action RPGs ever, offering an immersive anime-style open world, frequent updates, and a polished combat that's still holding up surprisingly well in 2025. I don't really play this style of anime games, you guys know that, but these are incredibly popular games at the moment. But if you're looking for something more stylish and combat-heavy, we got Zenless Zone Zero, bringing that fast, flashy fight with a modern urban aesthetic and a smooth animation that feels straight out of an anime movie. Both games are totally free to play, but remember, those are available only on the Epic Games Store. And finally, we got Infinity Nikki. It mixes a lot of open world exploration with cozy adventure and fashion-based gameplay. It's very casual, cozy, and a unique experience stand out from typical action games. Alright, moving on to our next category, we got survival games. And honestly, throughout the 2025, we haven't really got any major survival games into the free-to-play market. Pretty much all of these games are very well-established popular titles that you probably already know. Starting with Once Human, one of the best free-to-play survival games to play at the moment. And Once Human blends survival, crafting and shooting into a weird but awesome post-apocalyptic world full of these mutant creatures. It is extremely fun to play with other friends and also does support cross-play and cross-progression. edition on both PC and mobile. StarCraft X is another very unique and a very underrated game on the market. The game mixes hardcore survival with some MMO elements, throwing you into this dangerous radio-filled world where exploring, looting and PvP keep you on the edge. If you want more of a realistic and a punishing experience, we got a couple of older but relatively popular games, and these are Built to Live Online and Stay Out. Both games are relatively similar to each other and leans heavily into that stalker style survival with dangerous zones, artifacts and constant risk from both enemies and other players. If you're looking for something more simple and chaotic and somewhat easy to run on a low-end PC, I got 3 game suggestions for you, starting with Muck. And this one is all about fast survival sessions, crafting and fighting bosses, make it perfect for quick co-op runs with friends. Unturned may look simple, but it offers a deep survival system, massive map, vehicles, and mod support that keep it alive even years later. And finally, we got Zombie Blocks 2, keeping things more lightweight and fast, combining blocky style visuals with zombie survival elements. Another extremely fun game to play on co-op with your friends. Alright, now we are moving on to the most popular game category, and that is shooter games, including both first-person and third-person shooters. There are literally thousands of shooter games available on the market, and surprisingly, most of the popular, well-established titles are actually free to play. So you simply cannot go wrong playing any of these games. The games like Counter-Strike 2, Valorant, Overwatch 2, Destiny 2, Apex Legends, or even PUBG, these are very popular titles with their own dedicated player base. But if you're looking for some of the standout, most recently released titles, we got games like Arena Breakout Infinite, hands down the best first-person shooter that came out in 2025. This one is a super hardcore tactical extraction shooter, very similar to Escape from Tarkov but completely free to play. And of course we got Battlefield Red Sec, which we already discussed before, and also games like Finals, very standout in the market with their fully destructible arenas, fast-paced objective-based gameplay, and non-stop chaos that feel fresh and competitive. Has done one of the best ongoing shooter games on the market. And also the ever-popular Rainbow Six Siege got a new free-to-play update this year, and now it's called Rainbow Six Siege X, making this hardcore tactical shooter much more accessible for the casual audience. It is kind of separated from the core Siege experience, so if you're a casual player and a bit hesitant to jump into Siege, this is a good time to try it out. And also we cannot simply forget about games like Call of Duty Warzone. The game is in a bit of a downhill trend these days. I honestly haven't go back and play the game for like 2 years now, so I don't really know much going on with Warzone, but obviously if you love the game, you're probably already playing it by now. And we also got some new free-to-play tactical shooters like Fragpunk. It's not as popular as it used to be at launch, but doing pretty decently these days. It's a mix of hero abilities and card-based modifiers that completely change how each round plays. And we also got a couple of well-established but bit underrated titles that are completely different to each other. We got games like Halo Infinite, which recently got its final content update. I'm sure if you are a Halo fan, you already played Halo Infinite before. And on the other side of the spectrum, we got games like Enlisted, especially if you are a fan of World War II simulation style of games. And this one literally throws you into these large-scale World War II battles with squads, vehicles, and tactical realistic combat. The game is really good with tons of content, but it's a bit grindy on the progression side, something to keep in mind. And obviously, if you're a proud owner of a low-end PC game, there are plenty of good options on the market. The games like Combat Masters and Bloodstrike, which we already discussed before. Both games are really fun to play and work extremely well on a low-end system. On the other hand, we got games like World War Legion, which literally came out a few months ago. This one is basically Combat Masters, but with a World War II setting, with classic weapons, abilities, and fun game modes. We also got games like Battle Teams 2, offers a fast-paced PvP with modern weapons and competitive matches, and also including a fun zombie co-op style of a campaign that you can play with up to 2 of your friends. And finally, we got Polygon, keep things simple but tactical and fun with low poly visuals. It is a Battlefield style of a game with conquest style game modes that you can play with up to 32 other players online. There are a decent collection of maps, weapons, and customization available. All of these options are great, especially if you want a casual first-person shooter experience that doesn't destroy your PC. And I'm almost forgot to mention a game that I really enjoyed this year, and that is Darkenstein 3D. This one is a completely single-player story game where you're playing as this hobo guy try to find his beloved dog inside this Nazi camp. It's a really fun, really cool single-player game that will take you around 5 hours to complete, so definitely recommend you guys to give it a try if you like story-focused titles. Alright, now we are moving on to the other side of the spectrum, and that is third-person shooters. Obviously, we got games like Fortnite and Warframe, extremely popular, very well-established titles that need no introduction. On the other hand, we got some of the newly released titles, the games like Marvel Rivals, which brings fast-paced, team-based shooting mixed with superhero abilities and letting you play as these iconic Marvel characters in this chaotic objective-based matches, very similar to Overwatch 2 and very popular and very competitive. We also got games like Strinova, leans into that stylish anime-inspired visual with smooth third-person gunplay and also letting you switch between both 2D and 3D just press of a button. Very cool mechanics that I haven't seen in any other game. Caliber focus a lot on tactical and squad-based combat where positioning and teamwork matter more than raw aim, make it a solid pick for players who enjoy that slower, more strategic third-person gameplay. And finally, we got a brand new game that literally came out this year, and that is Black Stigma. It's a fast-paced third-person action game focused a lot on hand-to-hand melee combat and third-person close-range gunplay. So overall, if you're looking for more of a unique experience, this one is the game to try out. Alright, now we are moving on to MMORPG games. I personally don't really have a lot of time to spend on MMORPG games, so I rarely play them. But I gotta say it, man, 2025 is absolutely packed with some incredible MMORPG games. There are so many brand new games came to the market, and obviously starting with Where Winds Meet. It's definitely one of the most popular games to play at the moment, and the game literally gives you the option to play as an action RPG or an MMORPG, and it's all come down to you. Sword of Justice is another very newly released title focused heavy on story and progression, delivering a classic MMO experience with beautiful environment, deep customization, and a strong narrative-driven approach. Another very popular game that came out in 2025 is Blue Protocol Star Resonance, bringing that anime-style visual with real-time combat into an online RPG format. It emphasizing a lot on exploration, flashy skills, and co-op gameplay in this beautiful, vibrant world. Guild Wars 2 still remains one of the best MMORPGs ever made, with dynamic events, rewarding exploration, and content that still feel modern and active even years later. If you're looking for something more unique, you gotta try out World of Sea Battles, which leans into that naval MMO gameplay, letting you command ships, trade, and fight across massive oceans. Conqueror's Blade is a very popular game, but it's not technically an MMORPG, but it got some MMO progression with large-scale medieval warfare, putting you in control of both hero and an entire unit in epic siege battles. Alright, moving on to horror/survival horror style games, starting with one of the popular horror games on the market, and that is SCP Secret Laboratory. This one delivers a pure multiplayer chaos and tension, where every match turns into an unpredictable horror story driven by proximity chat, teamwork, and complete panic. A really solid option to play with your friends. And talking about multiplayer stuff, we got games like Project Playtime, another multiplayer horror game letting players survive together and hunt each other. Every match feels very intense and filled with jump scares and mind games. Another super fun game to play. Cryo Fear is an absolute classic at this point, offering you a classic psychological horror experience, focusing heavy on the atmosphere, disturbing environment, and a story that sticks with you long after you finish the game. Visually, it looks a bit outdated in 2025, but in terms of story and gameplay, it's really fun. Dead Frontier 2 leans more into that online survival horror experience, combining zombies, looting, RPG progression in a dark shared world setting. And of course, finally, we gotta mention No More Room in Hell. This game goes all in on realism, tension, where one bite can end your run, and ammo is very scarce, and teamwork is absolutely essential for your survival. Alright, moving on to simulation games, starting with Supermarket Together. This one is a surprisingly fun co-op simulator where you and your friends run a supermarket. You gotta sell items, manage stocks, and deal with all the pure chaos that comes with it. Extremely fun to play, and I believe you can play with up to 16 other players on online co-op. If you're into more like a live simulation style for games, we got one of the biggest games on the market, and that is Sims 4. This one letting you create characters, build homes, relationship, plus there are so much stuff to do if you're into that. On the other hand, we got games like Palia, which blend live simulation with MMO elements, offering a cozy world focused on farming, crafting, fishing, and socializing at your own pace. If you're into more like a fishing kind of stuff, we got Fishing Planet 2. It's a hardcore fishing simulator with realistic mechanics, real world location, and slow relaxing progression that perfect for solo plays. And also got brand new games like Upload Labs, and this one takes more experimental approach to simulation, focusing on tech, systems, and sandbox style gameplay that reward creativity and problem solving. And at the high end of realism, we got DCS World, or Digital Combat Simulator. Delivers one of the most detailed military flight simulations ever made, with ultra realistic aircraft systems and steep learning curve for the serious simulation fans. Alright, moving on to the co-op / party style games, we got some of the most popular, well-established titles alongside some new release titles in 2025, starting with games like Fall Guys and Stumble Guys. These are basically pure chaos party games throwing you into this colorful obstacle course where winning matter less than laughing at your own mistakes. Goose Goose Duck is another extremely popular party game on Steam, very similar to Among Us but completely free to play, and this one takes social deduction formula and make it even more chaotic, mixing proximity voice chat, betrayals and ridiculous roles that turn every match into a story. If you're a fan of the show Squid Game, you're definitely going to enjoy Crab Game. It is fast, intense, absolutely hilarious, where you have to go through this series of mini games like Red Light, Green Light, King of the Hill, and ultimately win the cash prize. We also got games like One Armed Cook and One Armed Rubber. Both games are basically similar in concept, where you only have to use one of your hand to do the task, and they are incredibly fun to play with another player on co-op. If you are for more of a serious co-op experience, you gotta try out Black Hawk Down campaign in Delta Force. This one delivers a remastered version of the classic Black Hawk Down campaign that best enjoy with friends, bringing back that old school tactical gameplay and cooperation. And finally, we are moving on to a couple of awesome co-op games that came out in 2025, starting with Cheese Rolling. This one is very fun and hilarious. All you gotta do is just go down the hill and catch the rolling cheese as fast as possible. Incredibly fun game to play on a party with your friends. And finally, we got Arcade Geddon, a game that came out a couple of years ago but recently went completely free to play. This one mixes co-op style shooting with roguelike elements, with colorful visuals and non-stop action. Hands down one of the coolest games to try out with your friends in 2025. Alright, when it comes to racing game, we honestly don't have a whole lot of options, but starting with one of my absolute favorite, and that is Asphalt Legends. I used to play this game a lot on my phone, but now the game is available on Steam. It runs extremely well on a low-end PCs as well. So this one is all about fast-paced arcade style racing with flashy cars, insane boost and over-the-top stunts that makes every race feel like an action movie. So on the other side of the spectrum, we got more of a simulation style of games, the games like Race Room Racing Experience, a relatively older game on Steam but still very popular. This one offers more of a realistic simulation style of experience with authentic tracks, licensed cars and competitive online racing. And talking about simulation style of racing games, we got something very recently came out, and that is Ren Sports. It's a bit underrated on Steam, visually looks amazing. If you're looking for something new, this one is a great option to try out. But if you're more into the casual side of things, we got games like Drift Legends 2, which focuses purely on the drifting and delivering that satisfying slide heavy gameplay. And also, if you like games like Mario Kart but looking for a free-to-play alternative, you can try out games like Disney's Speedstorm, a kart race chaos with Disney characters and colorful tracks, completely free to play, an excellent game to play on local co-op with 4 of your friends. Alright guys, moving on, next up we got sports games. Well, obviously sports games are heavily depending on what sports you actually like. For example, you may like football. If that's the case, you can try out games like UFL, a brand new simulation style football game that is completely free to play, and at the moment it is only available on the console side for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Hopefully we will see a PC release sometime soon. We also got games like eFootball, another very popular free to play football game from Konami that is available on pretty much all platforms. If you like baseball, you can try out games like MLB Rivals, which is another very recently released title on Steam. On the other hand, if you are a fan of more like American football, you can try games like Maximum Football. Another game came out in 2025. But no doubt one of the biggest and the most successful sport game to came out in 2025 is EA Skate. This one brings back that skill-based skating with focus on more realism, creativity and mastering tricks at your own pace. There's a massive urban open world style map to play around with. Such a social experience, definitely give it a try if you're more into skating. Alright, moving on to our final category, we got esports / competitive style of games. Obviously, these games are very popular. The games like Counter-Strike 2, Valorant, Dota, League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, Overwatch 2. There are so many competitive games that are already very popular. On the other hand, we got some new titles like 2XKO, which brings Riot's competitive DNA into the fighting game space, focus on fast-paced tag team combat, high skill ceiling, and esport ready mechanic built in for serious play. This one is still on early access, only available on PC at the moment, and the console release will happen sometimes in 2026. And also we got Rocket League, remains a timeless competitive hit, blending that football and rocket power scat into one of the most skill-based and hype esports games ever made. And I'm sure you already played Rocket League at some point of your gaming career. On the other hand, we got games like Brawlhalla, which keep things much more accessible, offering a platformer fighter gameplay that is easy to learn but harder to master, and also support crossplay and cross progression across multiple platforms. And that's pretty much covered the best of the best top tier free to play games you can play right now across every major game genre in 2025 and also moving forward into 2026. And this video took so much time and effort to make, so if this video helpful to you, if you find your next favorite game, make sure to drop a like down below and also subscribe and stay tuned for more free to play game content like this. I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Stay safe.